It started like any other Saturday morning, but within minutes everything turned into a nightmare. A black homeowner stepped outside to find a group of strangers in makeshift uniforms, flashing fake badges and demanding he leave his own property. Their voices carried the tone of authority, but their eyes carried something far darker. Neighbors watched from their porches, phones in hand, unsure of what would unfold. Was this legal? Was this safe? He had no idea the storm that was about to break, or who was about to show up. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. David was a retired Navy veteran who had served his country proudly for over a decade. After years of sacrifice, he finally settled down in a quiet, suburban neighborhood, eager to enjoy peace with his family. His home wasn't extravagant, but it was his pride, a symbol of everything he had worked for. Mornings were usually calm. A cup of coffee on the porch, the sound of birds cutting through the silence. The neighborhood association often felt strict, but manageable. Complaints about grass length or fence colors were more annoyance than threat. David believed he had earned his rest, free from battles. But beneath the perfect lawns and tidy driveways, hostility sometimes simmered, whispers about outsiders who didn't belong. That morning, when a group of men he had never seen before approached, dressed like officers, he thought it was a misunderstanding. He was wrong. The men called themselves HOA enforcement. Their badges looked official, but something about them didn't sit right. They demanded paperwork, claimed he was in violation, and ordered him to leave within 24 hours. David stood frozen, his military instincts kicking in: observe, analyze, prepare. He knew absolute authority when he saw it, and these men weren't. The neighbors peeked through curtains, some whispering, some recording, but no one stepped in. The men grew bolder, circling him, muttering accusations about illegal residency and not belonging. David felt the weight of their words. It wasn't about property lines or rules. It was about him, his skin, his very presence in a neighborhood that hadn't welcomed him from the start. His heart pounded, but he stood tall. Years in uniform had taught him resilience. But this was different. This was his home, his sanctuary, and they were trying to rip it away under false authority. One of the men shoved a fake eviction notice into his hand. Another snapped, "If you don't comply, we'll remove you ourselves." That threat hung heavy in the air. David clenched the paper, fury rising, but before he could respond, a rumble of engines rolled into the street. Neighbors' heads turned, cameras lifted higher. And then they appeared, 6 figures stepping out, of trucks, wearing Navy SEAL insignia. His brothers, his family. They had come. The street fell silent as the 6 SEALs advanced, calm yet commanding, their presence radiating authority that the imposters could never fake. They didn't shout. They didn't posture. They stood between David and the men, forming a wall of steel and loyalty. The fake officers faltered, their bravado cracking under the weight of true warriors. One SEAL picked up the phony badge, holding it to the light, exposing it for the cheap counterfeit it was. Another called the police, voice steady, unshaken. The imposters stammered excuses, but the damage was done. The neighborhood now saw the truth. David felt his chest tighten, not with fear, but with relief. For once, he wasn't standing alone. Justice had arrived in the form of 6 brothers who refused to let racism win. The real police arrived minutes later, and the fake HOA cops were taken away, their lies collapsing under the simplest scrutiny. But for David, the scars went deeper. It wasn't just about a fraudulent eviction attempt. It was about a message that some people still believed they had the right to decide who belonged in their community. Yet what stood out even stronger was the other message: solidarity. His SEAL brothers hadn't hesitated. They reminded the entire neighborhood that courage wasn't about intimidation. It was about standing up for what's right. David returned to his porch that night, the same coffee cup in hand, but with a heavier heart. The question remained. How many more must face this before change becomes real? Which country and city are you watching this from? Take care.